Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving.
This is a gift to each other, to all of us. As you can tell from the props and the visuals and the bulletin, this is a sheepy day, all about sheep. In the Prelude piece, which Bill said was his favorite, but I'm playing a simplified version, Bach said he tried to imitate the tinkling little sounds of the bells that sheep wore. And there's a place in it where there would have been a chorus singing, and the words would be, like a shepherd, God will lead us, or God will guide us. In his hands we safely rest. So, sheep may safely graze. Our opening words come from the back of our hymnal, written by Richard Gilbert. We bid you welcome, who come with weary spirit, seeking rest, who come with troubles that are too much with you, who come hurt and afraid. We bid you welcome, who come with hope in your heart, who come with anticipation in your step, who come proud and joyous. We bid you welcome, who are seekers of a new faith, who come to probe and explore, who come to learn. We bid you welcome, who enter this sanctuary as a homecoming, who have found room here for your spirit, who find in this people a family. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your journey, we bid you welcome. For our time of centering silence, it is my joy to bring the singing bowl that my daughter gave me. And she's very happy that it's singing here. Let's all take a deep breath And as we hear the sound, let us settle in, have our minds just let go of troubles and focus on being here together. I've invited Bill White to light the chalice, and he has agreed. Once again, we light our sacred chalice. To some, it's a symbol of warmth, goodness, guidance, revelation, security, freedom, fire, and call to rest and to action. May this flame mean for us what we each need this day, and may it be rekindled in our hearts and minds whenever we need inner security and peace. The opening hymn is number 1. I think it's Karen Clark's favorite hymn. And I will play a short introduction, and please stand if you wish. And as we're a smaller flock, you might want to try to sing a little louder. Best laid plans of getting prepared sometimes go astray. Ah, here it is. I'm not a good meditator. I can't focus. I think of what I'm going to have for supper or whatever. I'm sure all of you go through the same. But a number of years ago, when Kathari Finland was here, she held a writing group that I attended. And occasionally, she led us in meditation. And sometimes it was a guided meditation. And that really helped. So today, we're going to try this with the 23rd Psalm. And Brenda Wright is going to help out. So if you wish, get settled as much as you can be settled in these seats, and close your eyes and listen to Brenda's voice and mine.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters.
Can you picture this? A loving shepherd meeting the needs of sheep. They're resting in a lovely green pasture. Water, gently flowing, is easily accessible. Can you think of a time in your life when you were very well taken care of? No worries, all your needs met. How did that feel?
He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake.
Think of a time when you were unsettled, out of sorts, things not going well in your inner and outer life. How did you feel when your inner calm returned? When you knew you were back on the right track with family or friends or job?
Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me.
Think of a time in your life when you were literally in some danger of body, mind, or spirit. Yet you knew you were not alone, that some other, human or divine, was with you, helping you through this time, holding you up.
Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over.
Was there a time in your life when, seemingly against all odds, you made it through, knowing you are worthy, knowing you matter?
Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Looking back on all the times when you were provided for, when times of hardship or danger you survived by your own efforts or with help, can you now rest assured that loving help will always be with you, somehow, through the remainder of your earthly days, and into the unknown mystery beyond? May this assurance and hope be real for each one of us. Amen. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, everyone. Our congregational reading is found in the back of the hymn book, number 444. 444. I'll read the bold print and please respond with the italicized. It's entitled, This House. This house is for the ingathering of nature and human nature.
It is a house of friendships, a haven in trouble, and open room for the encouragement of our struggle.
It is a house of freedom, guarding the dignity and worth of every person.
It offers a platform for the free voice, for declaring, both in times of security and danger, the full and undivided conflict of opinion.
It is a house of truth-seeking, where scientists can encourage devotion to their quest, where mystics can abide in a community of searchers.
It is a house of art, adorning celebrations with melodies and handiworks.
It is a house of prophecy, outrunning times past and times present in visions of growth and progress.
This house is the cradle for our dreams, the workshop of our common endeavor.
And to that we can all say, Amen, and blessed be. At this time, we invite your gifts and offerings. Each of us gives in our own way and on our own convenient schedules. I remind you of the special containers on the back table, the ceramic container for the building fund, the green coffee can for the organ fund, and the cloth container for our discretionary fund to help those in need. And Mac, will you circulate the plate for those who have brought gifts this day? The unitunes will be singing in a minute. Before they come forward to sing, I'll be playing part of a selection from Handel's Messiah entitled, He Shall Feed His Flock. Thank you, Unitunes. There's always an open invitation to sing with them. May the gifts brought this day and all the ways we give meet many needs. Back sometime in the early 1980s, the television program, All Creatures Great and Small, began airing on public TV. And it soon became my family's favorite TV program. At the same time, we had some chickens and some rabbits and a large vegetable garden, and we considered ourselves to be sort of small-time farmers. What we loved most about All Creatures Great and Small were the episodes about sheep. The lovely aerial views of large flocks being rounded up by sheepdogs, but especially the programs that were about lambing season. The baby lambs were so cute, playing together, bouncing around, gambling all over the place. And their little baby lamb voices sounded almost like human babies. Of course, each of these episodes had some drama, some danger to the sheep from a predator, or some health concern with a particular flock, or some difficulty with a birth. But in every episode, the veterinarian, James Herriot, arrived to save the day, and every story ended on a happy note. As the TV season of All Creatures wore on, and back in the day, a season was almost a year long, not just 6 episodes, we decided that maybe we too could raise some sheep, just to eat, save some money. After all, we were trying to become more and more self-sufficient. We had enough property to add a small barn. We could get hay from offering to cut some of our elderly neighbors' large fields. Oh, we could do this. We could become shepherds. My youngest 2 daughters were so excited as they saw a small barn and pen become reality. The older 2 could care less. They had other interests, 2-legged interests. Well, we didn't know anything about raising sheep, so we joined a local 4-H sheep club, attended the monthly meetings, and began our sheep training. The leader of the club had several sheep of her own, many for sale, and we purchased 2 of mixed breeds at a very good price for food. But soon we were talked into getting 2 purebred lambs so that the girls could raise them for show at local fairs. These 2, one named Lydia, a black-faced Suffolk sheep, and Lena, a white Cheviot, both were named for the girls' great-grandmothers, soon became beloved pets. Our neighbors got quite a kick over seeing the girls leading their charges up and down our dead-end street on their daily training walks. The sheep were still young when their first fall fair rolled around, but the girls had done their homework. The sheep were healthy, clean, well-groomed, well-behaved, and both girls, or both sheep, won ribbons that fall. When the ewes were old enough to breed, we invited a young ram to pay a visit, and the desired goal was accomplished. We also purchased more sheep of different varieties, and with young rams continuing to visit, in a few years our flock numbered 22, including an adult black ram named Rambunctious. But he was very gentle. All the sheep had names and were as individual in looks, voices, temperament, and personality as are all of us humans in this room today. Sheep require a lot of care. They have to be fed, watered, sheared, protected from parasites, predators, and other health problems. They often need help with birthing, and even then, there's a 20% rate of loss of baby lambs. Sheep can be really stupid sometimes. They are followers of each other. One day I startled them all when I rather noisily walked into the barn without first speaking aloud so they could hear my familiar voice. One sheep bolted and ran into the barn wall hard, and many others followed one at a time, also banging into the wall hard. Bang, 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 stop, stop, duh. But they are quite intelligent too. It's reported that a sheep can remember up to 50 different humans or other animals. They can be very affectionate. Patting them makes your hands feel so soft from the lanolin. Whenever we decided that it was time to take a meat sheep to the butcher's for slaughter, we could never eat our own sheep. So we took home different meat that we knew had also been well brought up, grain-fed, and would be tender and delicious, not strong tasting or strong smelling. With your indulgence, I'd like to share with you some sheep stories. One weekend, when my former husband was away, a pregnant ewe went into labor. Well, it became obvious after a while that she was having trouble we couldn't handle. So we called our 4-H leader, and she said, "I'll be right over." Upon arrival, it became obvious to her that we needed veterinary help. We loaded the ewe onto the back seat of the car, which I had first covered with protective sheets, and off we went to the vet's. He came out to the car, examined the soon-to-be mother, and said, "We're going to deliver her right here." And he did. After making sure that both mother and baby were doing well, we headed for home, with one of my daughters cuddling the newborn baby girl, which we named Mercedes after the make of the car. The only ram we ever owned was the aforementioned black ram, Rambunctious, but he was gentle. All our female sheep were white, and one spring 2 were expecting at the same time. One had a white baby, which proved that Rambunctious had some recessive genes, but the other had a black baby. Unfortunately, the white baby didn't make it, and the other mother rejected her black baby. Would the mother who had lost her baby accept this other black baby that didn't look like her or smell like her? In our 4-H sheep classes, we learned that the best way to get a mother to accept an orphaned lamb is to skin her own dead baby and place the skin on the back of the orphan, thus fooling the potential mother with looks and smell. Well, we weren't certainly going to go to that extreme, but when we put the little black lamb up to the new mother, she came right to it, nudged it as if it were her own, and the baby began to nurse vigorously, and all was well. When one of our first sheep, Lydia, had her first baby, the poor little thing developed a nasty cough, so off we went with her to the vet. She had developed pneumonia, and the vet gave her a shot of antibiotics. Then he sent us home with our instructions. First, I had to give her a daily injection for a certain number of days. And second, since it was only April and still cold in the barn at night, the lamb would have to sleep in our house where it was warm. I had never given an injection to anyone or anything, but the vet showed me how. Since this baby came from Carolyn's sheep, Lydia, it too would belong to her, and Carolyn named her Heather. Well, of course, Heather would sleep in Carolyn's room. We found a large cardboard box and covered the bottom with a nice layer of fresh, clean hay. When bedtime came, Heather was put into her bed, and Carolyn climbed into her bed. Only Heather wouldn't go to sleep, but bleated loud baby baths without ceasing. So Carolyn took her pillow, climbed into the box with baby Heather, and the two were soon snuggled and sound asleep. The next morning when we opened our door to take Heather back to her mother for the day, we could hear Lydia's loud baths of distress for her missing little lamb. Here's a picture of 11-year-old Carolyn with Heather when Heather was a little. One year, the Saturday before Easter Sunday, my youngest daughter, Elizabeth, and I went out to feed and water the sheep. And sure enough, one of the expectant ewes was in labor. We got her separated from the others into the protective delivery pen and settled down to help with the birth. When two little hooves emerged, I pulled on them steadily but gently, and out came a little ram. He was very active right from the start, and in her excitement, Elizabeth shouted, "He's alive! He's alive!" Well, I was scheduled to give the brief Easter sunrise message the next morning at church, and this birth and Elizabeth's reaction sure made for a good little Easter message. One more story, last one, I promise. It was my practice after the Thursday night choir rehearsal each week to visit with one of the choir members for coffee and chit-chat. Normally, when I arrived home around 10, the girls would be in bed and the house all quiet. On this particular night when I got home, the lights were all on, and I could see people with flashlights walking around. Very concerned, I got out of the car and hollered, "What's going on?" One of my daughters came up to me and answered, "Mom, the sheep all got out and they ran down the banking and some are on the beach. And our neighbor's been helping us chase them for hours." In panic mode, the daughters forgot their 4-H sheep training instructions for getting loose sheep back to their pen. First, you never chase sheep. But most important, there's a tried and true way to get them to come back. You take their metal grain bucket and pound it very loudly over and over with a wooden spoon, and that familiar and beloved sound should bring them running home lickety-split. Sure enough, I stood at the top of the banking and began pounding away. Within seconds, they began bleating loudly, clambered up the bank, stampeded home, following me all the way into the safety of their fold. With many apologies and thanks to our next-door neighbor, we all were soon back in the house and settled into our fold for the night. Phew, that was an ordeal. During those years that we were raising sheep, I was also commuting to and attending Bengal Theological Seminary full-time for 3 years and working part-time at our church as minister of music and visitor to their many elderly folks. And for me, becoming a pastor was akin to being a shepherd. Jesus is the model for this role. In the Gospel of John, he is attributed with these words, "I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. The hired hand, who is not the shepherd and does not own the sheep, sees the wolf coming and leaves the sheep and runs away, and the wolf snatches them and scatters them. The hired hand runs away because he does not care for the sheep. I am the good shepherd. I know my own, and my own know me. In other passages, Jesus is attributed with telling a parable about how each individual sheep is so important that if a shepherd has 100 sheep and one becomes lost, the shepherd will leave the 99, even in the wilderness or on a mountain, to search and search for that lost sheep. And when it is found, he will place it on his shoulders and carry it back to safety. Even more, such is the joy of the shepherd in finding the one that is lost. He will tell all his neighbors so that they can all rejoice together. As sheep, what are our needs? Where is our flock? What is our safe fold? We're sheep, but we're also shepherds. We need safe folds, and we also need to help provide welcome and safety for others. In the current state of our country, the opposite is happening. Black sheep and others are literally being kicked out of the fold. Leaders with power don't care for the sheep, they don't know the sheep. They don't seek the lost, don't protect the flock. But they open the gates to invite in predators of poverty, joblessness, homelessness, divisiveness, parasites, disease, violence. As a church and as individual parishioners, we each have a mission and we have a right, R-I-G-H-T, to feed as well as to be fed, to care for as well as to be cared for, to seek, find, and restore, as well as to be sought, found, and restored, to love as well as to love. We each can shepherd in our own ways, and sometimes the most effective and meaningful act of a shepherd is a small act of kindness, a genuine smile or hello to a sad-looking person, or holding the door for an old person with a cane. It's a matter of becoming aware, of opening ourselves and caring. It's listening for our individual call of the moment and finding our own good shepherd, our own higher power to guide us. I purchased this little lamb many years ago at some church thing, and it used to be snow white and all fluffy. But for the last several years, it's been sleeping every night with our adult special needs granddaughter. Her mother sent her to me so she could participate in our service today. Her name is Little Lamb. I share a poem by William Blake entitled The Little Lamb. Little lamb, who made thee? Dost thou know who made thee? Gave thee life and bid thee feed by the stream and o'er the mead. Gave thee clothing of delight, softest clothing, woolly bright. Gave thee such a tender voice, making all the vales rejoice. Little lamb, who made thee? Dost thou know who made thee? Little lamb, I'll tell thee. Little lamb, I'll tell thee. He is called by thy name, for he calls himself a lamb. He is meek and he is mild. He became a little child. I a child, and thou a lamb. We are called by his name. Little lamb, God bless you. Little lamb, God bless you. Little flock, God bless you all. Our closing hymn, I think, is number 276. It's in the bulletin. This is not a familiar hymn, so I'll play part of it as an intro, and you may remain seated. May this light continue to burn in our hearts. May it never go out. And may you all be blessed with the assurance that you matter and you deserve a loving and safe fold. Amen and blessed be.
Amen.
We want to thank everybody for tuning in today. If you'd like to show your support, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel if you're not already subscribed, and help us out by sharing this message by clicking the share button. If you'd like to make a monetary donation to you, Church Houlton, there is a link to our online donations in the video description down below. And again, thank you so much and have a blessed day.